Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's really my privilege to be speaking to you. Now, I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Zhang Leiyan. I'm a freshman of the Faculty of International Study in HNNU University. My topic today is the differences of interpersonal communication culture between America and China. Before I show you the body of my paper, I'd like to share my writing purpose and the significance of my topic first. On the one hand, as we all know, China, as the world's largest developing country, has a more and more close-knit contact with America, the world's largest developed country. So people between the two countries are in a pressing need of communication and establishing a sustainable friendship and cooperation in harmony. What's more, my topic shows such an importance to set up a bridge that connects people between the two countries and promotes the Sino-US relationship effectively. On the other hand, just as John Stuart Mill once said that he who knows only his own side of the case knows little of that. So I think this topic can not only help us get rid of the unnecessary misunderstanding, but also can provide a great help to learn from each other for a brighter future. Now, this is the outline of my paper. I'll divide my paper into two big parts. The first part is the reasons for the differences. There are three reasons. Different traditional ideologies, different social cognitions, and different thinking orientations. The second part is distinct details. There are also three distinct details. They are from greeting, from address forms, and from invitation and compliment. Now, let's go to the reasons for the differences. The first reason is different traditional ideologies. Look at the first picture, and it's the living environment in ancient China. Chinese nation has lived in inland ground. Chinese nation has lived in inland ground with abundant natural resources and steady environment. So they lived a regular life that the men plowed and the women weave. Given the self-sufficiency, Chinese has formed the philosophical idea that finite concept resides in the infinite concept. And this is Confucius. Chinese communication culture is greatly influenced by the Confucianism, who inclines to the relationship between individuals and society. So Chinese uphold the middle of the road for adjustment and compromise as the most important principles. While Americans, whose ancestors stem from the European coastal countries and regions, have antagonistic states with nature because of the abominable natural conditions, changeable climates, and harassment by Indians. And so the theory makes people believe in the human power and personality play. This is Aristotle. The communication culture in America is greatly influenced by Aristotle's logical and analytical thinking. So they always found transient friendship according to their demand. The second reason is different social cognition systems. When it comes to the social relationship, Chinese are used to knitting an intricate when it comes to the social relationship, Chinese are used to knitting an intricate network to establish a complicated social relationship. Because they believe that they will rely on their friends a lot when they are outdoor, while the American just has simple friendship, simple relationship, for they care more about their own goals and objects. So, and they believe in the laws a lot. The next one is people psychology and interpersonal communication methods. In this part, Chinese awareness is taken their situation as center, while Americans just take oneself at the center of their awareness. The last reason is from the different thinking orientations. As for Chinese, they focus more about the interpersonal relationship and collectivism. The idea that collective interests overweighs personal profits is deeply rooted in the nation's soul. So they are dealing with their relationship in a modest attitude and to reach the harmony. While, as you know, the individual freedom is the most important one of the American thinking orientation. Let's take an example. They always say, I believe, in my opinion, and as far as I'm concerned, to show their own ideas about the objects. Now, let's go to say the three distinct details. The first one is greeting. Although there are many same etiquettes between the two countries with cultural views, every country has its own special etiquettes as well. Kissing and embrace are prevailing between relatives and friends, even between the authorities in the occasion of partings, congratulations, and expressing one's thanks in the American. As for Chinese, there are three special etiquettes. They are fist and palm, bow to salute, and namaste. Fist and palm is used to pay a New Year call of congratulations and thanks. Many overseas Chinese are fond of this etiquette when they meet for the first time. And bow to salute is used to express one's thanks and respect to elders and superiors. And it's also widely used in the funeral and wedding. The last one is namaste. People always namaste when they praise eulogy and greet each other. Common topics are also different in different countries. As for American, they always say, "How do you do? Good morning, nice to meet you," and to show their friendliness. While sometimes they even just nod without any words. As for Chinese, they always say, "So nice to meet you for the first time and appreciate it if you are willing to pardon me and correct my mistakes in the future." Acquaintances always greet each other by saying, "Have you eaten yet? Where are you going?" to show their closeness. So you see, Americans show more respect on their privacy than Chinese. Some topics such as one's purchase, one's age, and the politics and so on should not be discussed too early in a relationship in America. Well, it's not inappropriate in China to touch upon these topics when people meet for the first time. The second distinct detail is the different address forms. On the one hand, Chinese has a large amount of address form to rank and order the distance of relatives who take the blood relationship seriously, while American just acknowledges the relative relationship by the inner form of the legal consciousness. So they don't distinguish the appellations as particularly as Chinese. On the other hand, it's also different between friends, acquaintances, superiors to subordinates. People address their friends, schoolmates, colleagues by using their full name to show their closeness in China. And sometimes they are used to adding lao, which means old, and xiao, which means young, in front of one's name to show their closeness and equality. And the subordinates are supposed to address their superiors in the form of a family name and a title to show their respect. Well, it's very different in America. You see, it's common to hear people directly call the first name, even between the elders to juniors and superiors to subordinates. Well, the professor and doctor are the most widely used address forms in the American culture, but any other titles such as nurse, driver, and so on are not regarded as the respectable address forms. What's more, American doesn't like someone to connect them with old, for no one really wants to get old, which is very different from Chinese. The last part is invitation and compliment. In the American invitation culture, it's important to consult a proper time before you invite someone or you are invited. And if you go directly to one's home without asking in advance, the owner will think you are so cruel. Secondly, Chinese are used to attending the banquet ahead of time to help the owner do some chores to show their respect and politeness, while Americans just like being late used for several minutes. What's more, when it comes to the response to compliments, it's very interesting. Chinese are used to inflate themselves in words who take pride in the modesty, while Americans just have straightforwardness. Let's take an example. If someone says, "You are so beautiful," a Chinese girl will respond like this: "No, no, no, you are more beautiful than me," although she does think that she is very beautiful. While American girl will respond like that: "Thank you, you look pretty as well." That's very interesting, right? So what I do want to say today is, on account of different views of traditional ideologies, views of social cognitions, and views of thinking orientations, it differs a lot in interpersonal communication cultures between America and China. We are supposed to know the common sense of different interpersonal cultures between the two countries. That's all. Thank you for your listening.